So, those of you that have been around a while, you know my two favorite things are encaustic and plaster. And when I combine both of them, that's even more fun. But let's concentrate on the plaster. Those of you that have purchased my plaster journals, you know how involved they can be and how many pages there are, and whether it's paper or it's fabric, all that is plastered, and some of them are decorated, and the prices can kind of get up there. So I was approached and asked, is there some way you can do something a little more economical so that, they could create a journal for themselves? So I came up with this idea, and so I'm going to put these in my Etsy shop, see what kind of reaction I get to them. And if you guys like them, then I'll start creating them maybe in some different sizes also. But right now, this is going to be in the size of the Traveler's Notebook. I love that basic shape, and um, it's something to start off with. So, what I did is, let's show you here first what will come in the pack. I got some heavy duty canvas, and I did the plaster work here in the front. I have some that I've done inside and some that aren't done inside. I'm not sure which I like better. I'm not sure yet, but anyway, um, for sure the outsides are going to have plaster. I've already put in the eyelets here and put in some elastic, so that if you make your traditional type of binding for your traveler's notebook, you can just slip it in. If you want to sew it in, you can just pop that out, and now you got two sections where you could put some dangles or something. So you can adapt it either way. I also did out of some craft um, cardstock, I did some of these die cuts. And the reason I did these is because I did some in the past where I just basically glued them here on the front, and, sprinkled some gesso and some color and stuff. And right away, it already looks pretty cool. So I thought, well, it's easy enough for me to cut these out for you in case some of you don't have die cuts, or if you don't have this design. So that's included. I also had a few of these butterflies that are some on acetate. So I put two of those. I put a little piece of that paintable embossed wallpaper. First of all, just to house the little die cuts, but also I like using those in my plaster journals because they do have the embossing. So you'll get that. And then I've made various sizes of tags, and these are also have the plaster on them. So I'm going to include 5 tags with that. And then I'm going to put a piece of older music sheet, and I just like the fact that it's, nice and aged and vintagey looking, and it looks really cool when you incorporate it with that. So these are kind of like, monochromatic colors that you can use to work on the journal. A lot of you guys have stuff that you already want to put in them, but in case, you're starting from scratch, here's a few things that you can use. So I showed here, these are a couple of the tags that I put some napkins on. So you can draw on these, you can paint on these, you can do transfers on these, you can collage on them, you can just leave them plain. But I like doing transfers, and I like gluing down the napkins because it keeps the shape, and it keeps a lot of these have, you know, a nice texture on them, and you can continue to see the texture even when you put the napkin. Those of you that have worked with napkins, you know how that works. So that shows you an example of what you can do with these. I also made a few of these where I incorporated the die cuts. So that kind of gives you an idea of how these might look with the die cuts. And then I also, on top of that, I also put some little pieces of napkin on these. So that's a different kind of a look. This is a more subdued look. This is a little brighter look. And then for the cover, the actual cover, um, I had put something like this up here, and then you flip it open, and then you see all the pretty napkins. Again, I did all this with napkins because that's my go-to. And I don't have the inside done on this one yet, but I'm just showing you the covers, ideas on what you can do with your covers. And then this one, I also had that on the cover right here. And then you can see the napkins I chose to put on this one. So just giving you an idea of how you can decorate them. There's all kinds of things you can do to it. Um, I've even, done stitching work on it. I've sewed by hand pieces of fabric along the sides. You can glue on this. Of course, you can paint on it. You can draw, and obviously you can decoupage it and do collage work on it. So anyway, those are examples of things you can do with this. So this is what's going to come in the pack or kit, whatever you want to call it. And again, if people are interested, then I'll make more. I can make as many as people want because, I have all the stuff for this. So these will be in the shop, and if you decide that that's something that you find interesting, and maybe you want a different size or something like that, you can always contact me in Etsy and ask me if I can do a certain size for you, and that should not be a problem. But for now, I think this is a good size for everybody to start with because, well, because I like the size. I'm just being selfish. I like the size. So you guys need to like it too. Okay? So anyway, these will be in the shop, and I hope that you can have fun working with them.